The film begins with a flashback to 1979 in Rangel, Alaska, where a lumberjack named Carl was working with his friends. He notices his friend's vehicle being pushed up by an unexplained force while driving down the road. When it lands, he notices an unidentified flying object and attempts to escape, but gets sucked up by the thing. In the present, we meet our protagonist, Isaac Cypress, who works as an intern computer engineer at NASA JPL in Pasadena, California. Isaac immediately goes to his computer and encrypts a code received from an unknown source. Isaac's colleagues, Beck and Greta, come over to check on him and inform him that the audio signal was sent from Canada, which they did not have any satellites on but has been happening for days. That night, Isaac notices data being received from his computer and wonders if this unknown source is the same one he encrypted in NASA JPL. The following day, Isaac visits his therapist. She is concerned that while Isaac appears to be in good physical health, his mental health isn't. She then recommends Isaac record a 5-minute video diary, which she believes may seem goofy but benefits his mental health. He starts recording a video in which he talks about his family, particularly his late father, whom he seemed to mourn greatly. While hiking around, he spots something falling from the sky near his location. He tries to approach it, but the military personnel are also in the vicinity, so he hides from them. He still ventures inside the jungle and follows it, curious as to what it is. He miraculously obtains a sight of the UFO and manages to record it before it vanishes. What's more startling is that an alien was standing just behind Isaac. Unable to speak, he grabs his camera and records a video of it. He pursues the alien but is struck by a light beam. Isaac awakens in the mountains 3 days later. He has no idea what happened, but he recalls filming a UFO and an alien, both of which are still on his camera. He returns home with a strange discomfort in his arm. He becomes even more perplexed when his TAV vanishes, and as he approaches towards it, he comes into contact with some sort of force field, following which his TAV reappears. The same thing happens with his camera. He attempts to sleep but is unable to do so due to the strange feeling in his arm. As a result, he decided to go to the doctor and get it checked. According to the X-ray, Isaac has a flawless fracture. Thus, the doctor was surprised to find no injured tissue on his arm. Isaac then looks for Beck, who is startled to see him. Through a glass on the table, he tries to demonstrate Beck what he did on his TV. The glass vanishes in his imagination, but Beck tells him that it is still there. He even shows him the footage of the extraterrestrial and discovers that the incident occurred 3 days ago, not yesterday. As Isaac's perplexity develops, he decides to return home and upload the video to a space science website. The next morning, Isaac receives a phone call from a reporter who wants to interview him about the recording he posted about his experience with an extraterrestrial. He checks his computer and discovers that the video has received 1 million views, with half of the viewers believing it is genuine and the other half feeling it is a hoax. He is then interviewed on live television by a female reporter who seems to make it sound like Isaac edited the video due to his extraordinary abilities as a specialist in computer science. The media and public attention that Isaac's video is receiving is beginning to disturb him in his daily life. As a result, he decided to conduct additional studies into related accounts of extraterrestrial abduction. He comes across another person who has had the same experience as him. Isaac agreed to meet the user in a diner. While waiting, Isaac notices floating objects, but then gets disturbed by the waitress. We next meet Sarah, who is first skeptical of Isaac, but opens up to him after witnessing Isaac's video footage of the extraterrestrial encounter and some other stories about alien abduction and communication. She then asks him if she was aware of the alien abduction that occurred in Alaska in 1979. Only Carl went missing after all 3 men who saw the aliens went through a lie detector test. She gives Isaac her phone number so that they can continue their talk privately. They kept conversing on the phone as Sarah recalled more details regarding Carl Meisner's abduction in 1979. Sarah mentions that she found an article about Carl in the library and that he wants her to email him a scanned copy because there is no information on the internet. Isaac then sees a news story on TV about his video recording, which claims that it is just another bogus video about alien abduction. As a result, he makes numerous copies of the original tape, and just as he is about to send them off, he runs into a writer named Keith who recognizes him and offers to create a blog presenting his side of the story that the media has corrupted. He gave Isaac his card in case he decides to accept his offer. Obsessed with proving his alien encounter, he visits Keith's office and follows his advice to write a story about it and take a lie detector test to verify that he is telling the truth. During the lie detector test, two men in dark suits grab Keith and blast an electric gun at him, causing him to pass out. When he awakens, he discovers that he is being held captive by two robotic guards. He then virtually meets Agent Graves, who informs him that he and Sarah have been kidnapped. Graves then tests Isaac to see if he has the capacity to make items move by focusing on them. They needed him to bring them to Carl, who he claimed was in British Columbia. Graves attempts to obtain additional information from Isaac when the tests fail, but Isaac refuses. He unties himself and rushes straight to Sarah, allowing both of them to escape. With nowhere else to go, Isaac uses his mind to unlock the door and succeeds. They made it outdoors, only to discover they were in Costa Rica. Sarah and Isaac go to a store nearby and ask the staff if she has a computer since they need to contact Carl while Graves and his men are looking for them. She then tells them in her own language to look for Zed in a waterfront pub. When they get to Zed, he warns them that he will no longer help them if they lied even once. They were able to leave just before the robot guards arrived. They all arrive in Zed's treehouse and relax for a while Zed configures his computer. Isaac and Sarah had a conversation in which they recounted their experiences of alien encounters and how others react to their stories in the same way. Moments later, Zed is having trouble discovering any information regarding Carl. Isaac had a eureka moment when he suggested that the encrypted data he received at work, indicating in Canada, could be the map coordinates of Carl's location. When they try to search them up, it leads them to a cabin in British Columbia. They attempt to contact Carl, but he refuses to communicate, so Zed bypasses the system so that the call is automatically answered from Carl's end. Isaac explains why he's trying to reach Carl, so he doesn't hang up. He can only hope for Carl's assistance in enlightening him on what is going on, as the government is also after him. Carl demands that he submit the file immediately after he tells him about the data he received from Canada, which was an audio transmission. Sarah is perplexed since she doesn't understand why Carl would want to obtain the file, to which Isaac responds that the audio signal suggests communication with aliens. Carl learns from the audio recording that the aliens will return to British Columbia in 5 days. Isaac persuades Sarah to accompany him to British Columbia with Zed. Without Zed, Isaac and Sarah would not have been able to travel smoothly from Costa Rica. Using his tracking software on his laptop, Zed was able to alert Isaac that the robot guards were approaching while they were boarding the train. They walked to the second car of the train and put on masks. It effectively confused the robots for a minute, but then recognized Isaac's face, so they assaulted the three, but they were able to shake them afterwards. They eventually arrive at Carl's cabin. Carl points his shotgun at them and asks if they have turned off their trackers, something Isaac and the others are unaware of. Carl assists them in getting rid of their tracker. Meanwhile, Agent Graves was not pleased to find that the trackers had been removed. Carl then describes how he attempted to converse with aliens after escaping government officers. He tells Isaac how important that audio file is because it is the only one that has been encrypted from aliens, thanks to Isaac's ignorance in the first place. They were astounded that Carl could speak with the aliens in their language. They begin their preparation because it is the only way they will be able to speak with aliens, and Carl discloses that he has been looking for various ways to contact an extraterrestrial. Meanwhile, Isaac and Carl have another discussion about their extraterrestrial encounter and how they were given extraordinary talents that they have yet to fully understand. They return home to begin preparing for the arrival of the invaders in British Columbia. On the day the aliens arrive, Isaac runs outside to look for the flying object. As he follows the alien's footsteps into the forest, he notices the alien again. This time, the extraterrestrial decides to join their dinner chat. That night, they all sit down while the alien speaks and is being translated by Carl. The alien places his hand on Isaac's and asks him to identify the man in his vision, who is Jesus Christ. The alien said it was important for them to know who it was as it is connected to the origin of the universe. Before leaving, the alien asks if they have any more questions. Sarah asks the alien why their arm has a strange feeling, to which the alien responds that they have implanted a tracking device in their arms for records. The aliens value this information and are about to leave the vicinity, but Graves and his men surprisingly visited, but did not go out of the car. Graves reveals that the reason he is looking for Carl is to take revenge for his father. He shoots at Carl, then shoots Sarah as well, who was just checking on his car. Meanwhile, the alien was transferring some of his abilities to Isaac, but gets interrupted when Graves' men kept shooting guns inside Carl's home. Graves is perplexed as to where the fugitives are, but he is unable to locate them. Isaac uses his invisibility so that they won't be guarded by anyone. He then takes Carl and Isaac to the spaceship so that the aliens can help his friends heal. 6 months later, Isaac and Sarah are discovered to be happy as a couple, while Zed and Carl co-run a science program. The group now lives a quiet life, while accepting the fact that extraterrestrials exist and will continue to exist and live among them. That's it for today's recap. Give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more exciting movie recaps. See you next time.